they commission a show where people pay for a package to go see that band, and then it happens to be telecast during the halftime. They play a certain song or whatever.
You,
You know,
I
could
think
you
you
do something like that where instead of having to
sure,
go to Turning Point, you just fucking pick?
sure. I think I think you could. I think it would lose something, which I think is what this fight is all about. That the Super Bowl as an entity, as a holy day for us football fans, it is a day that we all come together, or more of us come together than at any point
A lot
in,
of people.
whether you're a football fan or not.
I was gonna say
People
a lot of
tune
people
in.
come. A lot of people watch it who don't give a fuck about football, and they like the occasion of it. Who don't
Yes,
give a rat's ass about the game.
yes,
They
they watch
like
the
that's
commercials,
a big deal.
the spectacle.
And just the togetherness, like you're saying, it's just such a nice thing to be invited to a Super Bowl party, which I was fucking not this year, but it was a different, but I still
Yeah,
watched it and enjoyed it.
yeah. Maybe next year I'll have a straight up party. I was just on the couch
Yeah,
with
that'd
Claire,
be nice.
and um, I think like I like the idea of it. It is the spectacle that drives us to watch this thing, that drives those numbers up so high. It's the fact that the commercials are crazy and all AI and all. I wanted to get to the betting markets that were heavy on the ads as well this year, and it was and the fact that you have all these celebrities in these commercials, the fact that everybody's eating and partying and huddled around the TV, that um, it is. Oh, and to speak to your other point, before the game, there was what was it? Green Day played a melody, uh,
Oh, a medley. That's right.
medley.
I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah, um, and I think it's the fact that it was all these things together, and it's this giant moment. I think that's all part of the equation. If you take away the sensual nature of it, I think it loses something, and I think
It certainly does.
that's why there is this culture war battle on it. I don't want to give too short shift to the TPUSA attempt, but that's why.
Well, I mean, it certainly would, but I wonder if there's a way to have it be less politically divisive. You don't want the Super Bowl halftime show to be on demand. That would not be ideal, right? To
Mhm.
pick from a menu of acts. And this is so interesting and point and sad because it's like everybody wishes we could all get back to a shared culture. Like it's the Super Bowl is the last vestige of monoculture, really the biggest one for sure that we have left. And it's now being cast as this like battle for the soul of America, right? But nobody wants to share what that is. It's like I want my monoculture back, but I want mine back, not yours. And if nobody moves off of that, then where are we going to be? Is there a way forward with this that isn't going to result in the same kind of thing? Because you're talking about turning points. There were these other shows. There was The Simpsons. I don't know where the order was. There was The Simpsons. There was the Beavis and Butthead Butt Bowl. There was the Bud Bowl,
Mhm.
which the Butt Bowl was a response to that. The Puppy Bowl, right?
The
There were all
lingerie
these other.
ball.
Yeah, but those were invitations to everybody to come. Turning points is like, hey, turn your back on this thing that's turning its back on you and come to where you really belong. I don't know where this goes, and if we lose the Super Bowl as a shared language, what do we have left?
It fits our time, doesn't it?
It definitely does.
Say that again.
It most definitely
Look,
does.
I don't think I don't think there's a way around this. Like
Mm.
you know, just to go wide again, so it's on camera. Um, you know, it's a rare conversation of this type that we have where I don't mention the fourth turning in some way, shape, or
Which
form.
is right.
It's right behind me.
It's right behind him. Yes, on that
For
shelf.
those who are watching on camera, here's the fourth turning. You know, shout out to Neil Hell, future guest on the show. Um, and and it is just a sign of this time, of this era. We can't. We really can't, or I don't think we can get to the point where we can. We have to go through this battle to figure out what the next thing is, and this is reflective of it. What's clear to me and jumped out at me is that we are culturally we're having a divergence where these two societies are getting so vocally separate because they were always separate. At least I believe
Hmm.
they always were, but it's become so vocal and so it's a level of acting out on both sides of the aisle that I'm deeply concerned with where this goes as well. And the Super Bowl was just a symptom of that. That
Definitely. I agree with that. You're saying they were these societies were always separate, but here's the difference. Entertainment world we all that was a universe we all lived in. I like half
no, it wasn't.
jokingly sent you that. Well, I half jokingly sent you that text after the Super Bowl. In the '90s, people were just going to the mall and watching MTV, and they weren't as and there was plenty of violence, there was plenty of volatility, there was I'm not romanticizing that, but there wasn't this sense of always being ready to antagonize the other half of the population as if you were like in these like two different um guerrilla camps. People weren't walking around in terms of pop culture with that mentality. And I'm concerned too. With you may disagree with my premise there, but I'm very concerned about where this is going.
I share your concern about where it's going, but I think you're totally wrong.
Do tell, do
You're,
tell.
if you look at the history, the history says that we've always been a very fractured culture. What's different is that we all have bullhorns
Mm,
and we have ways to run in herds and to that we didn't in previous eras. So just to think about this, I mean, probably one of the high end versions of this was the Tipper Gore thing, and the parents was it Parents Research Council,
Parents
Mus-
Music Resource Center, the
and
PMRC.
and the fact that they looked at what was coming out of the culture and that were these giant popular acts and said, this is vulgar. This is wrong. This does not fit us. This is beneath us as a nation. And our monoculture shouldn't include that. That's one example of this. And that's one organized example of this. But you always had these groups who looked at was popular and what was depicted on television and depicted in the movies. That's why we got rated R and PG-13. That's why we got ratings on TV shows, TV-14, TV-PG, TVG. Um, we there have always been this groups that people who critique these main threads of media, and there's always been these sort of offshoot media that has attempted to serve those groups, whether it's the Family Channel and Pat Robertson, or it's Ebony and Jet magazine, you know, or uh, and so on and so forth.
Tyler
What's
Perry.
hap or you could argue Fox News.
Right.
You could argue that that's what MSNBC has become. I'm sorry, my bad. MS Now, not MSNBC. MS Now. And we've gotten to this point in our culture where we now expect everything that we consume to be that. We
Right. So
have
that's
an
where
ability to filter content on a level that we've never had in history.
so that's where
We
I would
are,
suspect.
we are, we have an algorithm that's shaped to predict what we want. Is it 100% right? No, no. But it is very predictive. It's reacting to us, giving us what we want and how we think. And I think that's led to a demand from us culturally to give us what we want all the time. That's why I think it's having the effect politically. I think that's happened in our political discourse because all our devices are the internet gives us what we want all the time. Therefore, why can't we have what we want all the time in terms of our leadership, in terms of our policies in the country? That's why I think that temperature has gone up uh, higher, um, in part, not entirely, but in part. But I think especially in media, especially in these moments that we share, like the Super Bowl, I think the fact that we are super served things that we want or mostly want or kind of want all the time, whether it's a Netflix movie that we choose, we go through the scroll and pick out, or it's Spotify or YouTube Music, you know, pushing out a song that's kind of like the other song that you were digging